Hey everyone, LioConvoy here. Today we're reviewing the first wave of Super7's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates. This line is made as an update to the original Playmates line from the 80s and the 90s. We don't really care about packaging here, but we'll look over it real quick. These are formatted just like the Thundercats Ultimates packaging, with a brown mailer box holding the main packaging for the figure. Each figure comes in a slipcover box. The villain boxes are purple and the hero boxes are green. Each box has a silhouette of the character's face on the front of the slipcover. The boxes underneath are done in a brick style similar to the original toys. They all have bios in the back, so that's where we're going to start with Raphael. Raphael is a hothead and the most opinionated, impulsive, and restless Ninja Turtle. Raphael loves nothing more than to test himself in battle and trains for sheer enjoyment. He's usually the one to leap into action, and it's nearly impossible to get him to back down. No mention of him being cool but rude. And here's Raphael out of the box. He comes with a gripping pair of hands with an upward joint, a gripping pair of hands with a sideways joint, a special set of hands to hold the size in the dumbest way possible, and an open pair of hands. He comes with a closed turtle communicator, an open turtle communicator, a shogi, a pair of hand knives, 2 shuriken, a pair of gray sais, a pair of silver sais, an alternate head, and a slice of pizza. He also comes with a separate weapon tree just like the original toy, in case you want to equip him with toy-accurate colors. I don't though, so they'll stay where they are. The main head he comes with is also clearly made to emulate the original toy. Let's get into his articulation. His head turns at 360 degrees and moves up and down this far. His arms move out that far with a 360 degree movement at the shoulder. Bicep swivels at 360, single joint elbow that also turns at 360, and the hands, like all the other figures, turn 360 with a single joint. The waist moves this much, the legs move that far apart, and rotate at 360. He has a thigh joint that moves this far, a single jointed knee, a 360 swivel at the knee, and the foot moves up and down that much and moves side to side. Overall, he poses okay and is fairly accurate in style to the original toy. However, there are some issues I'd like to bring up. Firstly, the pegs for the hands are really short, especially compared to their Thundercats Ultimates. You're likely to pop the hands off whenever you want to exchange the weapons. Another point of contention is the articulation itself. Brian Flynn has gone on record several times now talking about how he doesn't like double jointed knees and elbows because it breaks the look of the figure. But with the turtles, not having them makes them look worse. Now, when you bend the knee or elbow, it makes it look like the pads are out of place and that they're riding high. You could have easily addressed this in a way that doesn't break the figure's look by just hiding the joints in the pads themselves. Super7's competitor, NECA, did that over a decade ago, but Super7 couldn't figure that out somehow. These are ninja. They're mobile and flexible and need that added articulation to move dynamically. Enough of the problems though, let's look at some of the other features. I like the added metallized belt details, and the knife hand fitting into the back of the belt is a good touch too. If you wanted to though, you could substitute it for a slice of pizza. I really wish the sides were more firm though, especially the metallic ones. Here he is in comparison with the Playmates original, where you can see the obvious influence on the design. And here he is with the other Raphael figures. Next up is the foot soldier. Foot soldiers are all alike. Speechless, robotic minions to Shredder, the evil foot leader. Their mummified movement, made from the unfortunate relatives of the turtles, and radioactive eyes make these skeletal scumballs truly horrible additions to the Foot Clan. And here he is out of the box. He comes with 2 standard gripping hands, 2 shuriken hands, 2 pistol gripped hands, 2 knife hands, and 2 fists. The weapons he comes with are the Shell Biter, the electroshock mace, which is actually a flail, the turtle carver, a rifle, a handgun, and a pair of shuriken. He also comes with a flat-colored weapon tree just like Raphael. His head rotates 360 degrees and moves up and down this far. His arms go out this far, shoulders rotate 360, single-jointed elbow that also turns 360. The hands all move 360 with a single joint back and forth. Waist moves 360, legs go out this far and move back and forth this far. He has a thigh cut that rotates 360, single joint at the knee that also turns 360, a shin cut that rotates 360, and his foot moves up and down like this as well as side to side. He poses fairly well, and overall, I like him. I specifically like the added cloth detail on his straps and his boots. He's a good update to the original toy, but there are some problems. The biggest one being the following. The hip and ankle joints are so loose that getting him to stay sturdy in any of these poses is a pain. But the bigger one is his Shell Biter. As you know, this figure is bigger than the original toy. However, the new Shell Biter is smaller than the original toys, meaning the new one can only fit around his shoulder instead of his torso. Heck, the original toy Shell Biter can actually fit around the Ultimates figure and looks better doing so. Speaking of his original toy, you can see it here right now and see how his Ultimates version compares to it. And here he is with other foot soldier toys. Now it's time to look at Splinter. Splinter is a mutant rat. is the philosophical and martial arts teacher, the sensei to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's a master in ninjutsu and has taught the turtles the secrets of the ninja, the Bushido Code, and the warrior's way. Okay, just gonna comment on this real quick. You guys need an editor or something for this text. Ninjutsu isn't capitalized for some reason, and the Bushido Code and the warrior's way is repetitive because Bushido literally translates to way of the warrior. What a mess. Let's talk about the toy though. Splinter comes with regular gripping hands, 2 fists, 2 arrow gripping hands, and 2 knife hands. He also comes with a steaming cup of tea, a pet turtle, and 2 types of kimono, a cloth goods one and a plastic one. The weapons he come with are a kyu, or bow, with 3 arrows, a sword cane, a walking stick, and a pair of shuriken. His head moves 360 and can look up and down this far, the arms come out that far, and rotate 360 at the shoulder, single jointed elbow that moves 360, waist moves 360, legs move out this far and can kick back and forth this far, single jointed knee with a 360 rotation, and an ankle joint that moves 360, and his feet can move up and down. He also has a 360 degree pivot at the base of his tail as well as a joint, and another 360 swivel at the midway point. I really like the cloth goods robe compared to the plastic one, and it's a neat touch that the kyu and arrows actually function, although the bendy plastic means its trajectory will be questionable. The cup of tea and the turtle are a really nice touch too. It adds to the figure and gives you a bit more information about who he is as a person. The downside is that he's really not all that posable. I really wish they would have engineered his articulation a bit better. Also of note is that his sword cane isn't much bigger than his original counterparts. Second time this has happened in the line so far, not good. Here he is with the vintage toy for comparison. And here he is with other versions of Splinter. Last of this wave is Baxter Stockman. Baxter Stockman, a man with the mind of a scientist and the body of a common housefly, buzzes around town, annoying the turtles and other decent reptiles. Created accidentally in Dimension X by a malfunctioning disintegrator unit, Baxter flurried himself into an avenging frenzy. Convinced by Shredder that the turtles were solely responsible for his rebirth as an insect, Baxter now vents his hostilities towards our half-shelled heroes. Baxter comes with a pair of pistol grip hands, a pair of gripping hands, a pair of fists, and a pair of open hands. His weapons are a pistol and an anti-turtle swatter, we'll get to that in a bit, as well as a mouser and the standard weapons rack. His head moves 360 degrees with no movement up and down, arms move out this far and move 360 at the shoulder, single joint elbow and a 360 swivel, and all the hands rotate 360 and have a single joint. The bug arms rotate 360 and can move up and down this much. They have a single jointed elbow that also moves 360, and the hands have a single joint and move 360. The wings rotate 360 and have a single joint. He has an upper torso swivel that moves 360, and his waist moves 360. The legs move out that far and kick back and forth this far. Single jointed knees with a 360 rotation. The feet rotate 360 and move up and down this far. For the mouser, the jaw opens and closes. It has a 360 head swivel, and the legs move 360. This is actually the bulkiest and tallest figure in the line so far, and while I'd like to praise it as an update, he's got some issues here. Let's start with the biggest problem, his fly swatter. While the Smash Turtle is a nice though gruesome detail carried over from the original toy, the red part here on the bottom is where the wheels fall off. Firstly, you can barely get him to hold this while it's on the swatter, but furthermore, it's a complete foul-up. I don't own the original toy, but I was sent some images of it from Michael French at Retro Blasting, and on top of that, Grimm sent me the production art of the original toy. That red piece's purpose on the original toy was to snap onto Baxter's wrist. The new toy doesn't do anything like that. It's too thin to fit on his wrist properly, and having him hold it any other way just looks sloppy. It's a complete waste. I will say, though, that taking the design from the Playmates version certainly makes him stand out. Comparing him to the NECA-tuned Stockman shows how monstrous the design actually was and still is. A detail I missed in the original toy that adds even more tragedy to the character is a wedding ring. This is the third most shocking time I've seen a wedding ring on somebody, and since I'm sure someone will ask, the second time is on my brother, and the first most shocking time was on Goatsy. The inclusion of the mouser, though, is great, and I really enjoy having it as an addition. That is all of Wave 1 reviewed. So, what do I think? Well, I think they're pretty good overall, but there are some issues like the joints on the turtles that I think need to be revisited, and the Baxter is a major whiff when it comes to his weapon. I only collect certain characters for the Turtles line, so Baxter and some of the others that are coming in these waves upcoming won't be staying long anyways. This wave has been so popular that it's been reissued twice. How they put this wave out a total of 3 times now, while Wave 3 of Thundercats isn't out a year later though, is beyond me, especially considering they're apparently all in the same factory. Speaking of things I don't understand though, I have some questions here. I didn't really bring it up in the review proper, but the bios for both the Foot Soldier and Baxter Stockman are directly lifted from the original Playmates bios. I wonder if this just means Nickelodeon owns everything Turtles related, down to the original toy designs and bios, or if Super 7 got permission from Playmates to use the bios and toy designs. Just to be clear, none of this is meant in an accusatory way. I'm genuinely curious about how all of that works. That all out of the way, would I recommend these? At $45 each, it's pretty steep for figures that aren't quite industry standard for articulation and get beat by their competition regularly. However, if you really like the original Playmates designs and want to revisit that with a newer toy, I say go for it, especially considering that even though these sell out quickly, they're still easier to find than the NECA line. Where's my freaking April NECA? I'm waiting for you. In the near future, I'll be covering Wave 2 as well. Are there other modern Ninja Turtle figures you want me to cover, or anything else? Feel free to mention them in the comment section below, as well as give your thoughts on the line so far. A special thanks to GlowPOP Artisan for use of her Ninja Turtles instrumental cover for this review. If you enjoyed the music of this review, a link to her social media will be in the description. Feel free to check her out, give her a sub. She tends to do instrumental covers as well as speed paints and tends to be very fond of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Head over to her stuff and take a look at it. Merchandise March is finally over. I know we're a few weeks into April already, but this took a lot off my docket and will allow me to catch up on other projects now. Special thanks to my patrons. If you want to support the channel, the link for that is in the description. Also, feel free to join our community Discord server in the description as well. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.